All right, guys. I have to say, this is one of my favorite lessons of the whole year. I know I'm a little bit nerdy, but I love this lesson on multiplying binomials. So we're on page 6 in our notes. We're going to do a few examples before we get started here. So let's just kind of do some warm-up examples here. We have 3x squared, and what is happening here is that you are distributing this 3x squared to everything inside of this parenthesis, right? That's what it means when you have a number or term in front of a parenthesis. It's multiplying by everything inside of that parenthesis. So first we have 3x squared times 2x squared. Well, we've done that before. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that first. 3 times 2 is 6, and then we add our x's. Okay, and then next we're going to say 3x squared times 4x. Three times 4 is 12. X squared times x to the first. That's going to give you an x to the third when you add them together. And so now we're left with 6x to the fourth and 12x to the third. What you do is you add those together. And you get what this is. Because remember, when we add exponents, we cannot add exponents that are not the same. So unless this is an x to the fourth, we cannot add this to it, okay? Or unless this is an x to the third, we can't add this to it. So your answer just becomes 6x to the fourth plus 12x to the third. Okay, let's skip down to this one. 7x times 4x, 7x to the third times 4x to the second. And that gives you 28x to the fifth. Okay. Then we have 7x to the third times a negative 2x. Because you're multiplying that 7x to the third times everything in that parentheses. And you get negative 14x to the fourth. All right. And then finally, there are 3 terms in that one. So 7x to the third times 3. That's just going to give you 21 and then x to the third. So our answer includes all 3 of these numbers added together. And since they're not the same exponents, they cannot be added together any further. Okay? All right, so there is a shorter, well, let's just talk about this. All we've done here is we've just had monomials that we've been multiplying. But what happens when you have binomial? You have 2 terms times 2 terms. We have to use a method called the FOIL method. And FOIL is an acronym, and it stands for first, outer, inner, and then leftover. Okay? First, outer, inner, and leftover. So, F is first. Here's what happens. Okay? So we have 2 binomials that are multiplied together. This is the only time you use it, when there's multiplying. There's no addition in the middle. This is multiplication. You take the first term in each binomial, and you multiply those together. X times x equals x squared. Then you do the outers, the outside ones, the first one and the last one. Those are the outside numbers in the whole thing. So you do x times 3. Well, that gives you a 3x. Then you do your inner numbers. 2 and x are your inner numbers. 2 times x is 2x. And then finally, you do the last, or leftover. And that would be the 2 and the 3. So the last number in each parenthesis. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? So now that you have all these 4 answers here, you see if you combine any like terms. So we have an x squared, an x, and then a constant. So we have 2 x terms we can combine. 3x plus 2x would make a 5x. Okay? So now these are our 3 answers. And I like to put them in order, starting from the one with the greatest exponent down to the constant. And that is your answer. Okay? So let's do an example down here. Let's do number 8. All right, we're going to do first 3 times x is 3x. Outer, the outside ones, 3 times negative 4. And remember, this negative sign goes with the 4. That's negative 12. Inside, the 2 inside ones, the 1 and the x. That's just going to give us a 1x. And then, lastly, we have the last numbers, 1 and negative 4. Okay, so now, oh, and I realized I just made an error, guys. I just did the 3 instead of the 3x. So that was actually 3x times x, which is 3x squared, because you had an x1 and an x1 that you add together. So now I'm going to combine any like terms that I have. And then I also forgot this x, I'm sorry. Working really quickly. 3x, I forgot my x here. 3x times negative 4 is a negative 12x. Okay. I apologize for that. So now I'm going to combine my x's. They're always going to be the 2 on the inside. Add those together, and you get negative 11x. Okay. So now I can put my answer out. My answer is 3x squared minus 11x minus 4. Do one more. Let's do number 9. All right. First terms, x times x equals x squared. Outside, x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Inside, 10 times x equals 10x. And then, last, 10 and negative 2. The last terms. So again, this is FOIL. Okay. Now, we're going to combine our x terms. Those are like terms. 10 plus 2x gives us an 8x. And we can put our answer. X squared plus 8x, because that's positive, minus 20. Okay? We will be doing many more of these examples tomorrow in class. But I just kind of wanted you to get kind of a glimpse of what the FOIL method is. And I guarantee you it is something you're going to remember for many years. Because it is something you will keep using in math. Because it's something that we really need to make sure we master. All right, guys. Have a good evening, and I'll see you later.